Hello, everybody. We are those guys you hate.
Welcome to the show that encourages you to be your best self by not being like us.
My brother and I hopelessly search for nuance as we wade through wacky segments and crazy conversations.
If you can withstand the insanity, you might actually learn something.
Tyler, what are you going to be chatting about today?
Ryan, on this week's show, we have a loaded Happy Death Day. Listen, if there was a tontine I didn't know about, I would say someone is making their move to be the last one standing.
Rich, baby.
And it's been fun, America, but I think it's time to pack it up. We've had a good run. What about you, Ryan?
Have we? I guess it kind of feeds into that. Are we becoming more shameless as a society? My sources say yes on Ryan's Vault of Sound and some reverse true crime on Don't Kill, but When You Do. So let's do it. Tyler, why do we call people we're having sex with baby?
I don't know. It's an endearing term.
It is an endearing term, but if you do the math, there are very few things that you can't have sex with. Babies are at the top of that list.
They're pretty high up on the list.
That's way up on that list, right? That's about as young as you can go as a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're not out here throwing around child or children, but nonetheless, babies don't have sex with them.
Yeah, that's probably a good rule to have.
I think as a show, that's a show rule, right? Don't have sex with babies.
More of a life rule.
Well,
more of a universal rule.
The show is my life, Tyler. So I'm wondering, where did that... I actually looked up how we infantilize women in society, and I tried to look up how we always, while saying that it's very important, the relationship between adults and children, and they should never be romantic, we really do try to turn a lot of women into kids.
Yeah.
And all that came up on that Google search was way too serious. So again...
What? You were looking for some kind of comic relief to answer you?
Not comic relief, but I didn't want deep social discourse. I just wanted some layers to add to this, this concoction, to this cake that I was baking of babies. Don't have sex with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nonetheless, baby is about, I would say that's as common as any sort of, term.
Correct. Yeah, I wonder where it is, because there is a certain level of, we want to make people younger than they are, specifically women. We want to keep them young. Why'd you have to take it to that kind of extreme, I wonder? Why did we have to take it all the way down to baby? Couldn't we have just been like, oh, my little 18-year-old?
My little preteen. Which
that's still too far.
Again, and
that's
I agree.
Even creepier.
Don't do it. But you would admit that's higher up the list than a baby.
It's all bad.
Just the logistics.
It's all bad.
This is going to be a weird show.
What are we doing?
We are definitely taking that.
Well,
out.
we're gonna bleep it. You can't
you're
say
right,
that.
You're right. So nonetheless, I digress. We should have called baby's top of the list. Welcome to the show.
Way more work for me now.
That was a lot.
Yeah,
that was a lot. And you know what the thing is on this show is we try to do the highbrow humor. We try to bring in some awareness, and then every now and then we go low. That was too low.
That was very low.
I painted quite the picture.
Yeah, the way that babies are at the very top of that list that you were talking about, what you just said was at the very bottom of that list.
I verbally painted a picture, and it looked a lot like King Charles's new portrait. Welcome to Those Guys You Hate. Woof. My name is Ryan. That is my brother Tyler, who is, for the third or fourth time, excuse my cracking voice, very disappointed with me, and we're knee deep on this show, Tyler. We've barely gotten into it.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
So apparently this is what happens. If we ever miss a week, then by the time we get to it the following week, we're all just built up with our juices.
I'm all jazzed up.
Yeah, and our energy.
I've got comedy blue balls, and there's just something that needs to be done about it, Tyler.
Got you.
It's
I got you.
He's got magic fingers. It's not that. It is the lack of sleep that I've had this week and the effects that has on my brain. And I always go for the outrageous humor, and sometimes it's just too outrageous, as what you just heard bleeped. Yeah. I pray to God.
Some things you can't say.
And it honestly, it affects my emotions. And if we had a segment where we could talk about our emotions, it would sound a little something like this.
No one cares.
This is the Depression Index, and what the Depression Index is, it is a machine that we built with our hands, and we crank it up to let you know how down we are, and no babies were injured in the making of this podcast.
That's good.
Tyler, how are you feeling this week, baby?
I am good, Ryan. I'm good. I've fallen off the last few weeks with my healthy living and whatnot. I've been eating as well. I've been exercising as much as I would like to. And so I reminded myself that there is no bad time to get back into it. You realize you've fallen off. You just set the intention and you promise yourself that you're going to do it. So I'm going to hit the gym today, and
then be forgiving of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And this following week, and you take whatever the drop off was. You take that as a lesson. You don't beat yourself up. You just keep moving forward. So that's what I'm going to be doing this week. I want to make sure the three things, I want to hit the trifecta of get to sleep early enough, a full night of sleep. Eat healthy enough. I don't have to be perfect with it, but just, get back to relatively good eating, and exercise, no matter what that looks like.
Those are the key, man.
That's it.
And I think what is so interesting is it's that forgiveness of yourself, that idea of I screwed up. Sometimes we want to punish ourselves and just dive deeper into what is making us feel shitty at the moment. And that idea of I could start right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
That's it.
It's a good awareness.
Yeah. So this week, I will say that I am at I'll say a neutral 5, Ryan.
Spin
1, 2, 3, 4,
Tyler. 5. And you went to Comic-Con yesterday, did you not?
I did. We had a SuperCon down here.
SuperCon.
Oh man, it was awesome. We had a great time. But I told you yesterday, David Tennant was there, who is a famous actor, for me personally, famously as Doctor Who. Doctor Who, and he's my favorite Doctor. That's right. We're not doing a Who's on First.
It's unnecessary.
And so he was giving an hour-long conference where he was getting in front of the audience and talking to them. Oh, a woman ran up, just ran to the door, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. They weren't letting anybody else in. We were late. We were 15 to 20 minutes late.
Okay.
She started crying, and I don't mean tearing up. I mean
Dr. Boo.
I mean ugly crying in front of everybody, and her friend had to lead her away on her shoulder and stuff. It was weird.
How old was this person?
She's probably 18, somewhere around there. Yeah, she was young.
Yeah,
she was young.
I'll allow it.
But depression index for her.
Sky high. It's hard when you're mixing your obsessions with Miami's obsession with just never being on time anywhere. Yeah. And the idea of something being in Miami called SuperCon is poetically beautiful. Tyler, not unlike what you were talking about, living on a routine. That is my theme. That is literally the only 4 words that I have written here. Living on a routine. Now, sometimes living on a routine can be a hindrance. Would you agree? Sometimes it could be too strenuous. It could be too stressful when we are too exacting with ourselves. Yep.
Well, I think what you're describing is perfectionism, where we don't give ourselves.
I got that.
If we don't, you and I definitely do. I think it can obviously become a problem when we don't give ourselves any kind of leeway, where if we mess up, so to speak, our schedule, even to the tiniest amount, we feel like we failed.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is not true at all.
And then you fall into that little thing of what you were discussing where you're like, fuck it, I already did it. Tonight I'm going out hard as shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why, you want to go out hard?
I have a priapism. So, but I do believe that living on a routine can be super helpful when used in an appropriate fashion. The more you do something at a scheduled time during the day, the more likely you are to do it tomorrow, right? If you're eating at the same time, going to bed is a great example of doing it the same time every day. It's very beneficial for you. You're more, and I'm making this up, but I also believe it to be true. You're more likely to meditate at the same time every day than just fitting it in when you get a chance to fit it in.
No, but that is absolutely true. That's how you form habits. by the more you do something specifically at a certain time, the more your brain and your body get used to doing it at that time.
And I am at the high end of that. I cannot break from my norms for anything. It's actually, I need to work on it a little bit more, but my routine not only works for me, but I realize whenever I travel, I love my routine. I love the little ins and outs of my days. I love the meditation. I love the gym. I love all the kooky bullshit that I do, and I miss it. When I don't have it, I suffer. So,
well, now you're back.
I'm not doing anything else. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah, so this week, I am at a 4, baby. 1, 2, 3. For the people at home doing the math.
You know, we talked about that baby thing. Just
Baby.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, let's go ahead. Let's take a break. Let's not explode you. And let's not explode you. When we come back, I don't know what to do now.
Why? Hey everyone. If you're anything like us, you've struggled with depression, anxiety, isolation, or any number of things that hold you back in life.
Or do you procrastinate a little too much? Maybe you've had trouble with self-control or even just going through a tough time. Regardless of whatever it is you're going through, therapy can help.
For me, Ryan, it's completely changed the way I deal with my problems. Even the relationship with my own thoughts have improved dramatically.
And that's why we're excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp.
BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is so important to us because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area.
BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you up to a professional therapist in as little as a few days.
It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. Go to betterhelp.com/thoseguys or click on the link in the show's description. Clicking on that link not only supports us, but supports you.
And we want to support you too by giving you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp to connect with a therapist and see if it helps you.
Finding the right therapist is so important, someone that you really connect with, and BetterHelp has made that easier than ever. Switching therapists until you find the right one without having to worry about insurance or any additional fees.
You know, Tyler, when I first had my son, I felt so many emotions that I had never experienced in my life. Therapy really helped me figure out what was going on.
Well, that is betterhelp.com/thoseguys. Help the show by supporting the people that help us.
Those guys.
Now, hopefully, the world is turned around a little bit and the people who are being that divisive now kind of don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's an ebb and flow, just like everything else in the universe, and these things have a balance and counterbalance to them.
I love it.
You're gonna swing it. What do you love? What are you loving right now?
You hate.
I love, you saying the things that you said specifically. I love when the show moves from that thought. I wasn't listening. to it.
Yeah.
When we edit,
Yeah.
we hear this a lot where
Yeah.
I have statements that I use to just move on to the next thing. I appreciate you calling me out for it. I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's
Don't
fine.
ever
That's
do that
fine. Let the world know what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, hey, keep up the good work and you're dead.
Those guys you hate. Guys you hate. Guys you hate. Guys you hate.
Right, sir.
And we're back, Tyler. Tyler, I am going to read. Let me see. Is it just one sentence? I'm going to read one sentence to you, and then you tell me if you are interested in having a conversation about what I just said.
Okay, hit me.
I hope you say yes, because I'm kind of like planning on it.
All right.
Villagers in Borneo. Where's Borneo? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I've
sorry.
never heard that word before in my life.
Really? Borneo. Villagers in Borneo really liked having sex with a shaved orangutan prostitute so much that they formed a mob every time police tried to rescue it. So
I just for the sake of keeping the show going,
I'm going to tell you,
I'll go say I'm interested.
this is not as hilarious as you might think.
No.
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
No,
This has sitcom material written all over it.
The Odd Couple. You got the shit orangutan.
Which one was that of the Odd Couple?
And I think that was Jack Lemmon. and the villagers. So
couldn't they just have sex with each other? Why with the orangutan? How did that start?
now here's the deal. And I looked into this, unfortunately. Orangutan's name, Pony. It's kind of cute.
It's
like calling your cat dog or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
This orangutan was stolen from the jungle as a baby, chained to the wall, and lying on a mattress. Now, it was pimped out, not unlike a regular prostitute. And they had regular human prostitutes that you had the option to choose. Some people wanted the novelty of the orangutan. You're making a face.
How could of course I'm making a face.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is a totally natural state to be in.
It would be weird if you weren't, if you were just licking your lips.
So how could, that's a different kind of facial expression for me. How could it be pimped out as a prostitute? You can't pay an orangutan. Like, what did they give it, bananas? Like, what was the...
There was a pimp. There was the orangutan's pimp.
It sounds like a slave,
The
more like it.
Well, aren't most prostitutes slaves, Tyler?
That's, I mean, a good question.
Yeah.
But they're not, I would say the majority of them aren't chained to a wall, but maybe I'm wrong. It's something I'm happy to be naive about.
We can review, are most prostitutes chained to a wall?
You're going to be put on some kind of list if you look that up.
Dude, I'm on all of those lists.
So, it's Ryan again.
He's
Google searching.
Man, the show's going to be wild this week. So they were shaving. I feel sadder as we move forward here. They were shaving the orangutan, which, by the way, not meant to be shaved. Orangutans not meant to be shaved. I saw a picture of Pony the orangutan. Not that sexy.
Yeah.
I hope that that's not a mean thing to say.
Yeah.
Not that sexy.
Yeah, well, you're focusing on how the orangutan looks and not what they're doing to it.
I am focusing on that.
Okay.
As an aside, I'm saying it makes it even tougher.
Yeah.
If a man walked near her, she would turn herself around, present herself, and start gyrating and going through the motions. Pony the orangutan, and the villagers became so infatuated with Pony the orangutan, they were outwardly fighting the police as the police tried to. They're putting their name on it. They were like those polo wearing Nazis over in Charlotte.
Yeah.
They were happy to be there. You know what I mean? So I don't have a sounder to kind of brighten this up.
That for me
is Pony the orangutan prostitute.
That seems appropriate.
Truth bomb.
What do you know what happened to Pony? Is Pony still alive?
Finally rescued.
Oh, thank God.
But as I'm sure I can already kind of put together on yourself, animals can also be put through serious trauma.
Yeah.
And Pony has not been the same since. It's 15 years later, and Pony is still trying to put herself back together.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish Pony the best.
As do I.
When I hear a story like that, it always makes me think of like when a serial killer, like the toy box killer, when they get like other people involved with them. Like, how do you even begin to have this conversation?
How do you match up with somebody like that?
Shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, eHarmony, who?
Hold on, I'm thinking of an eHarmony joke. Hold on. Chimpanzee harmony?
Not your best work.
Not my worst. Wow. Remember what I said in the first segment?
I don't want to bleep anymore.
But the idea is, and what you're referencing is, and this is back in the 80s, there was no internet. At least the internet, you can enter into some of this stuff namelessly and anonymously. But where they would have, this is dark, so trigger warning, they would have these sex slaves where they would lock these women up. And they would have these little cocktail parties, light on the tail, and they would chain this woman up almost in like a coffee table-like position. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Yeah, this really, of all of the true crime that I have taken in my life, no pun intended, this one stuck with me as much as anything ever has. And there at this cocktail party, they would unleash their German Shepherd.
Yeah.
And the German Shepherd would mount the victim.
Truly diabolical behavior. Like
that's wrong on so many levels.
How evil do you have to be
to find pleasure from that kind of disgrace, that kind of torture, that kind of public humiliation?
Yeah, that when I hear about stuff like that, that's where my brain goes to like evil incarnate, like evil.
Isn't the toy box killer one of your favorites?
Meandering, one of the most interesting, not one of my favorites.
We need to work on our phrasing.
But he is one of the most interesting serial killers I've ever heard
Love you,
about.
buddy.
No, you don't.
We don't.
Yeah,
You're a bad man.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I I don't know.
I'm glad that we don't know.
But he died, right? He's already dead.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Pony the orangutan, we love you.
We do love you.
For real, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So what has died here during that segment is my spirit and my hope for humanity. So let's celebrate death in a different way, Tyler. Do you have a segment where somebody's passed away and we like to celebrate their life and we like to lift them up as we bury them down?
Yeah.
That was an unnecessary flourish.
Yeah.
I have been running dark today.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you.
Papa needs some sleep. I'm learning terrible things about me.
I think we all are, Ryan.
Yeah.
Happy Death Day. That is right. We are we're going to be talking about a few people. So this week has just been crazy. We have lost Shannon Doherty just died.
What?
Yeah, from cancer, age 53.
I didn't know that.
Shannon Doherty
Beverly Hills 90210
died just yesterday, and in Charmed. Yeah, she died yesterday.
Famously hard to work with. Probably not the right time to bring
That's
that
a
up.
weird thing to bring in.
You're right.
Listen,
right.
if we're talking about the Unabomber, you bring in his crimes, but Shannon Doherty, we love her.
The Unabomber had a point. You know what I mean?
All right, not the time to bring this up. All right, now, where was I? Richard Simmons has died.
A Def Comedy Jam.
Richard Simmons died yesterday.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
man.
a beacon of positivity and just exercise and wanting people to feel good. Also,
a very flamboyant personality at a time where there wasn't a bunch of that going on. I really liked Russell Simmons.
Correct.
And Shannon Doherty.
Richard Simmons. Russell Simmons, the other guy.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
All right.
And also Dr. Ruth has died, although she was 96, so great life. That's a good one.
Love Dr. Ruth, man. Truly
a sexpert.
A sexpert. Of those three, she's the one that I probably am most familiar with, where she was an old grandma bringing real substantial sex information with no shame, just facts to a world that truly needs that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely need more sex education in this world. So Shannon Doherty, Richard Simmons, Ruth Westheimer. Happy Death Day.
I did not know about Shannon Doherty.
Yeah.
Golly, she was very young. Do you know what kind of cancer it was?
I do not. I have no idea.
Awful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. To all of them. Now, Richard Simmons. What was that whole thing that happened a couple of years ago where he disappeared and they couldn't find him?
Two things. First of all, Shannon Doherty, breast cancer is what got her.
All right.
And Richard Simmons, he just retired and he wanted a quiet life. He just wanted to be out of the limelight, kind of like what Jack Nicholson did. You know, Jack Nicholson in every movie ever, and then he retired and then he just disappeared.
I thought that was the picture of him eating sub.
You mean out on his patio?
On the boat.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought that's what drove him into. I'm just being mean.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing.
I'm just being mean.
Sorry he retired and wanted to stop.
Yeah,
you know?
I get it.
Yeah.
It's not unlike Marlon Brando. You've been at the top of your game forever, and like, what else is there to prove? What else is there to do?
Yeah, I mean, Marlon Brando kind of lost his mind there at the end.
I think it's got to be very tough to get those kind of acclaims and have that many yes men around you and not spin off into craziness.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
All right, Tyler, let's very quickly, Ryan's Vault of Sound. Let's look at what we got. Let's do Ryan's Vault of Sound. Here we go.
Ryan's Vault of Sound.
All right, Tyler, what do you think? I am chunky today, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you. You are falling apart.
Papa needs some sleep.
Yeah, baby needs some sleep.
All right, Tyler, what is going on with people's relationship with the media? What's going on? Media, important tool, necessary, journalism, holding people accountable. We have we talked about Trump in the pregame. I think he changed a lot of people's perspectives on the media and what their purpose is and what they're doing. What do you think about that? Just that whole ball of wax.
Well, I think there are two different things within the statement that you just said, where journalism is wildly important. It's how we root out corruption. It is how the public knows what's going on behind the scenes, because these fuckers aren't going to tell us. However, we also have the media. We have CNN, we have Fox News, we have MSNBC. And while there might be some journalism in there and whatnot, these different companies have found that the way to keep viewership, the way to keep ratings is not by telling the truth all the time or doing real journalism. It is about getting people worked up, get them into a frenzy, get them frothing at the mouth.
Those primal instincts are a son of a bitch.
Yeah. And so Trump came along and called them all fake news. And it's really thrown everything into a bit of a tizzy, as it were.
Now, was that the beginning of it? Is he the genesis of all of this? Or is this, and I know I'm asking you questions you weren't prepared for.
Well, my guess would be that there's been distrust bubbling for quite a while in the media just because of how many opinionated shows are out there now. It's not getting in front of people and going, okay, here's the news from yesterday. It's how do I feel about the news? And I'm going to tell you how you feel about the news.
And I'm sure the advent of the internet and that idea of be fast, not right, also has murkied the waters.
Definitely.
But let me...
And you see how popular TMZ has gotten. And these other...
Is that still a thing?
Oh,
okay.
It's a huge thing.
That.
Yeah.
It just shows you how out of touch I am. So... on today's Ryan's Vault of Sound, you know what? And I'm thinking of this now. I don't even know this gentleman's name, but he is the head coach of the baseball team at Texas A&M.
Okay.
And this is what transpired.
Coach, with respect to the difficult outcome tonight, but with the rumors circulating today about a specific job opening, what do you have to say about your future in Aggieland?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if you're going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. So write that.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
Unnecessary, I would say. He literally could have said everything that he said without calling the person selfish.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand how that was selfish.
And I think that people celebrate that. I think that people like to see you tough and you're standing up to the media. And I'm sure some people don't want to see other people being cruel to other people. But not only did this guy take the job.
Oh, he took the job.
Not only did this guy take the job.
Oh, my God.
Not only did this guy take the job. He had already accepted the job when he said that.
Wow.
And my question is...
That's insanity.
Where did the idea of lambasting someone go? Where did that become okay? Where did that just bullshittery become fine? I don't understand what the fuck that is.
Man, I don't know. That is it. You know, Nick Saban did the same thing down here, you know, when he was a Dolphins coach. Oh, are you taking the job at Alabama? Let me tell you, I am not taking the job. He was on the plane the next day.
Just as rude as you could possibly be. And I understand business and I understand keeping things under wraps, but there is a lot of exit ramps between keeping things business professional and what that guy just did.
Oh, yeah.
Calling him selfish when you're fucking lying, bro.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Wow. That is quite the projection that was going on right there. That was
fucking crazy.
Wow.
And instead of attacking
media, are we doing douche of the week this week? Because I have got a nominee.
We could circle back, but I would just say that I understand the media problem, and a big problem with the media is it's supply and demand. If people weren't clicking on that shit, they wouldn't be putting it out there.
I agree.
But the idea is let's start holding some of these higher ups as accountable. We talked about Trump. We talked about all the stuff in the pregame that happened last night with the assassination attempt. Big deal. But the idea that he's never held accountable for just flat out lying is really tough for me to understand. So that is my Ryan's Vault of Sound. That is my thoughts on the media. You got anything to add to that before we go to break, Tyler?
No, I am all good.
Texas A&M coach, you are my douche of the week.